In this video, we are going over 25 incredibly useful personal finance facts that you need to know. Every single fact we're talking about today has the power to positively influence your financial success. So I really encourage you to watch through this entire video because you don't want to miss out on any of them. So without further ado, let's get started. So the first fact is that the more you talk about money, the more money you'll make. This has to do with the law of attraction, which is a philosophy that suggests that your results will either be positive or negative depending on your thoughts. So if you think and talk about money in a positive way, you'll use the law of attraction to bring in more money into your life. And if you think about money in a negative way, or you just don't talk about it at all, the law of attraction will bring negative outcomes. Talking isn't the only thing that's going to help you make money. You must also listen. So the Dalai Lama once said, when you talk, you're only repeating what you already know. But if you listen, you may learn something new. This is super true, and I find that whenever I listen, I can learn a lot more than when I'm actually talking. So prioritize talking about money, prioritize learning about money, and I guarantee you'll make more money that way. Number 2 is millions of people travel for free each year because they use credit cards. So more specifically, 50% of Americans are planning 2 or more trips this year using credit card points to pay for the travel expenses. So basically, if you aren't using your credit card to build travel points, you are missing out on a ton of free money and travel. What I recommend doing is look for a card with a sign-up bonus because that's probably the easiest way for most people to earn a lot of points, and then use that bonus, transfer it to airline partners, and your redemptions are going to be a lot more effective. Of course, you don't want to get into credit card debt just to build up points, but this is a proven way for so many people around the world to be able to travel for free. And I know because most of the flights I take are paid fully by my points. There are so many people that you guys can learn from, for example, Max Miles Points. And yeah, in conclusion, all you guys should be traveling for free by utilizing credit cards. Number 3 is 34% of credit reports have errors in them. This is really big because credit report errors can actually lower your score and lead to higher interest rates, or can even prevent you from getting some jobs or an apartment. So what I recommend you guys doing is check your credit report through annualcreditreport.com. That is the official site that the government provides us. And if you find an error, dispute the incorrect information with the credit reporting company. And after that, you'll have to wait up to 45 days for them to actually investigate and respond. But yeah, so many people have lower credit scores than they should have, and it's just because of these stupid errors. So definitely recommend go to that website, get your free credit report, and make sure that everything looks okay. Number 4 is if you're finding that your pay is stagnant or not growing that much, try looking for another job. Studies show that the more you look around for new jobs, the more you're going to make. And that's because for people that stay in the same job for a long time, their salary might stay the same or might go up maybe a few percent per year. However, when you use your current salary to price shop with other different jobs, this can often lead to really big increases in your pay. So if you want to make more money, change jobs more often, or if you've watched any of my other videos, you'll know that I'll say start a side hustle and generate another source of income. So the 5th fact you should know is that building wealth through investing takes time because of compound interest. Warren Buffett always talks about compound interest, saying that building wealth is like rolling a snowball down a hill. And yeah, the trick to have a very long hill is either starting very young or living to be very old. For example, if you guys invested $100 every month in the stock market and you return on average 7% per year, you get $342,920 after 45 years, which means you profited by about $288,000. What's even better is that if you invest just $200 more per month with the same annual return of 7%, you'll have over $1 million after that same 45 years. So invest as early as you can. And if you do want to get some free stocks, I'll put links down below in the description. Those links will give you a ton of free stocks with both WeBull and Moomoo. These are both stock trading platforms that I personally use and recommend. And yeah, you might as well get some free money, right? Number 6 is taking care of your physical and mental health can actually save you a ton of money. Medical expenses are increasing every year. And in fact, national health spending is projected to grow at an average annual rate of 5.4% from 2019 to 2028. These medical expenses are growing faster than your income. And yeah, when you think about that, that is pretty scary. So to avoid getting to really expensive medical debt in the future, what you want to do is you want to prioritize your health by working out, meditating, doing a morning routine, eating healthy, reading, journaling, and whatever else to keep your mind sharp and your body sharp. It'll cost you a little bit of time and money right now, but that will pay so many dividends in the future. Number 7 is the average millionaire has 7 streams of income. So for most people, they're going to have one main job and maybe a second job or a side hustle. People learned from the pandemic that having 1 to 2 sources of income can create an issue, especially for workers that had in-person jobs that weren't essential. So 9.6 million people, or 57%, were unable to work because their employer closed or lost business due to the pandemic. So that's why I really prioritize having multiple sources of income so that all your eggs aren't in one basket. According to the IRS, here are some of the most common streams of income for people. You have dividend income from stocks owned, you have earned income from a paycheck, you have rents from rental real estate, you have royalties, you have capital gains from selling appreciated assets, you have profits from businesses that you own, as well as interest from savings, CDs, bonds, or other lending activities. So point being, maybe start a side hustle. And with that money, you want to reinvest in assets that produce money. If you guys want to see my current streams of income, I'll leave a link down in the description below. All right, number 8 is that lifestyle inflation can prevent you from becoming wealthy. 36% of people making over $100,000 annually actually live paycheck to paycheck. Now, this makes sense if you're not making that much money, right? But that's a different problem. And to solve it, you probably just want to get a higher paying job or pick up a side hustle. If you're making 6 figures or more and you're still living paycheck to paycheck, then there really is no excuse. You definitely want to create a monthly budget and stick with it. And you can even try out the 50-30-20 rule where 50% of your income goes to necessities, 30% goes to your wants, and then 20% gets saved or goes into investments. Really, the point is you don't want to live beyond your means and really be cautious as you make more money to avoid that lifestyle inflation. All right, so number 9 is the more credit cards you have, the better. Right now, the average American only has 4 credit cards, while cardholders with credit scores above 800 actually have an average of 6 credit cards. That is because they know that credit cards can actually save them a lot of money. When you spend on a credit card versus a debit card, the first thing I'll say is that a credit card is much safer. Money doesn't get debited from your account directly, rather the credit card company pays for it and then you pay them. And in case of fraudulent charges, it's much easier to get your money back. Second is you get a ton of rewards for paying with a credit card. Every time you swipe your credit card, the merchant or seller is paying a credit card processing fee. It's generally around 3%. And the awesome thing is that these credit cards actually pay you a reward for spending. This basically means that you get a 1 to 2% rebate on everything you buy. Plus the fact that you're using a credit card helps increase your credit score. If you're responsible with your money, I don't see why you'd ever use a debit card. Number 10 is you have to spend money to make money. And this means putting money into your education, investing into your business, buying stocks, or whatever it is. One of the biggest lessons I learned from my failed clothing brand Charge is that I didn't spend any money on marketing, and that is where I needed to put my money. Instead, I put a ton of effort and money into, making sure the clothes were good, flying out to the factories, all that stuff. So yes, while I'm spending money on my business, that money wasn't being spent in the correct portion of the business. And so I guess I'll add that just spending money on yourself or your business is not going to automatically mean you make money back. You need to know exactly what to put your money into. And for me, I'll say that knowledge as well as marketing, these are 2 of the biggest things you need to spend money on. I encourage you guys to buy books, buy mentoring, spend time listening to podcasts. And yeah, just know that if you want to play it safe and have your money always sitting in a checkings account, then yeah, you'll save, but that money is not going to grow and you're not going to become super rich. If you want to make a lot of money, you have to spend your money to make money. That is just how it is. All right, so number 11 is books are one of the best investments that you can make. So this sort of ties to the last point, but I'll say that 85% of self-made millionaires read 2 or more books every single month. Now, the average cost of a book that's around 200 pages is between $10 to $19, which is extremely affordable for all the knowledge and insight that you're getting. You're literally able to get coached/mentored from people that have succeeded for literally like $10 to $20, right? If you think about it, that's actually crazy. I know that reading books for me was one of the most life-changing things that I ever did, because before I started doing that, I thought books were pretty lame and I didn't read books. But once I started reading and learning more about money and business, well, everything literally took off. So go out there, buy a few books. I guarantee you it's gonna be some of the best money you've ever spent in your life. Number 12 is 66% of Americans worry that a major recession is right around the corner. So for the first time since 2009, the US gross domestic product was negative for 2 quarters in a row, dropping 1.6% during the first quarter of 2022 and 0.9% in the second quarter. The average recession in the US also lasts roughly 17 months. So the reason why this is important is because if you're trying to invest, especially if you're investing for the long term, then right now is going to be a great time. If you're worried about recession, all the historical data says that you shouldn't be afraid because in the long term, the markets have only gone up. So yes, stocks could dip more, but if you zoom out to the bigger picture, now is going to be a fantastic time to buy. Number 13 is that 1/3 of Americans say they regret how much they spend every single month. month. You guys are probably spending more than you like as well. One thing that you guys can do is to actually stop impulse shopping, right? This is something that really gets to a lot of people. Wait 1 week or 1 month before buying something, right? And if you still want that item after that week or month, then buy it. Often you'll find that after the novelty of that item fades, you actually don't want it anymore. And that's gonna save you a lot of money. Create some type of budget and just make sure that you guys aren't spending more than is comfortable, because I guarantee you financial security feels a lot better than having that new item or whatever it is. All right, number 14 is that 62% of consumers who have a budget feel more confident about their finances. Basically, if you guys aren't that financially literate, that's totally okay. One of the first steps that you guys can do is actually start building a budget, because that's gonna throw you into this whole world of financial literacy, financial freedom, and money. It's one of the easiest ways that you can start building up momentum towards your personal finance goals. So you guys can use something like Mint or any platform or even a spreadsheet. As long as you're able to track your expenses and know how much is coming in and how much is going out, this is gonna make you feel a lot more confident about your finances, as well as save you a lot of money. All right, so the 15th fact is that money is emotional. Emotions drive most decisions, which is why most people struggle with their money. The sad truth is that most people's habits actually aren't coming from a place of logic. They're coming from a place of emotion. So according to Cambridge researchers, children have developed behaviors related to financial concepts by the time that they are 7 years old. Some people grow up in a family where talking about money is rude and taboo, which makes it hard for them to learn because they feel guilt about bringing up the subject. If you can analyze yourself and master your emotional relationship with money, then I guarantee you, you're gonna be way better at handling your finances in the future. What you guys can do right now is just focus on the things that you're in control of. For example, budgeting realistically, educating yourself on money through books and videos online, and then taking action on everything that you learn. Overall, the less you're emotional about money, the more money you're going to be able to make and save. Fact number 16 is that student loan debt is at $1.8 trillion and is growing 6 times faster than the US economy. If you guys currently have some student loan debt, part of it may have been forgiven recently, which is pretty cool. So definitely check to see if you're one of the lucky few. The takeaway with this fact is that that is a lot of money in loans. So if you're currently in university or you're planning on going, make sure you're gonna get a job after college that's gonna pay off your loans. And if not, maybe consider going a different path. There are so many jobs out there that do not require a college degree. And yeah, that's gonna bring me into my next point. Number 17 is freelancers in the US earn an average hourly rate of $20. Freelancers working in web or mobile development, marketing, legal, accounting, and other skilled services earn an even higher $28 an hour on average. So if you're making $28 an hour, you're making more than 70% of all workers in the US. You can easily make an extra, let's say $200 every single week if you work an extra 10 hours at $20 per hour. There are so many different websites that you guys can use to get into the freelance game. And I'll say that these side hustles can easily turn into full-time jobs that can pay you the same or even more than your current job. Freelancers on average are more happy. They have a way more flexible schedule, meaning they can work whenever they want. And the best part is you're not making someone else rich, you're making yourself rich. So I highly recommend it if you guys have a high value skill to actually start freelancing and generate some additional income. Fact number 18 is the average return of the stock market over the long term is about 10% per year. And that's measured by the S&P 500 index. This proves that long-term investing is where you'll find the most returns in the stock market. If you zoom in year by year, you'll see that there are some ups and there are some downs, which are impossible to predict. But in the long term, you'll always come out ahead if you invest in the right stocks. What I recommend doing is just invest your money into index funds and ETFs, such as Vanguard's VOO, which mimics the S&P 500. And yeah, by doing that, you don't really need to worry about when to buy and when to sell. Just dollar cost average into the market, buy these really easy stocks, and then spend your time and energy figuring out how to increase your income. I mentioned this earlier, but if you guys want some free stocks, definitely check out WeBull and Moomoo. They're giving out a ton of free stocks and the links will be down below in the description. All right, fact number 19 is that if you make extra payments on your mortgage until you reach 20% equity, that allows you to actually cancel your PMI insurance. PMI stands for private mortgage insurance, which is insurance that you might be required to pay if you have a conventional loan. And yeah, it just basically protects the lender if you stop making payments. This is required if you have a conventional loan with a down payment less than 20% of the home's value. And yeah, this is going to apply to most people as conventional loans make up 82% of the entire US mortgage market. Now, PMI depends on your credit score and a bunch of other factors, but typically it's going to be between 0.5 to 1% of your loan amount per year. So let's say you have a $300,000 loan. That means that you're going to be paying anywhere between 1.5 to 3K per year in PMI. So one thing that you can do is put extra money into your mortgage, build up equity, and once you hit that 20% mark, you can actually ask your lender to cancel the PMI, or in some cases, you may have to refinance. But yeah, getting rid of that PMI payment can save you guys a lot of money. I actually don't recommend for most people to put more money into the mortgage than they have to, because that money can typically be spent somewhere else to make more money. But if you guys have already reached 20% equity or more and you're still paying PMI, then something's wrong and you better contact your lender to see if you can get that removed. Fact 20 is that the average adult between 25 and 34 spends $161 per month on clothing. People aged 35 to 44 spend a little bit more, $209 per month. And building on top of that, the average American pays $237 a month for subscription services. Basically, this just all means that you are probably spending money on things that you don't need every single month. Pretty much all of these subscription services have increased their prices recently. For example, Netflix, Amazon Prime. So yeah, take a look at your expenses, figure out what you guys don't actually need to spend money on. And yeah, I think just knowing that the average person spends that much money on clothing should be a red flag. We definitely don't need to spend that much money on clothes. We can literally just buy a wardrobe that works for us. So yeah, just identify these things and cut them out of your budget. Overall, this is just another scary fact about how much people spend on a certain category. And the point is that it should just make you reconsider how much you're spending on clothing as well as your subscription services. Fact 21 is that 54% of people between the ages of 26 and 32 said that their emergency savings declined during the pandemic. 26% of millennials actually had to withdraw from their emergency funds or savings accounts, and 51 million Americans actually increased their credit card debt because of the pandemic. More recently, 36% of US adults tapped into their savings to cover living expenses because of rising inflation. With inflation nowadays at over 9%, it's really important for you guys to start building your savings, build an emergency fund, and really prioritize saving more money. What I recommend doing is set up automatic savings transfers every single month to build your savings account. And yeah, find like a high yield online savings account like Ally, because right now a lot of them are paying up to 2% in interest. Fact 22 is that only 12% of car buyers have ever refinanced an auto loan, and 74% of homeowners haven't refinanced either. Refinancing can save you guys a ton of money, and there's a chance that you can get a much better rate than the rate you got before. Now, today, since rates are so high, this probably won't apply to most of you guys, but just know that refinancing is a technique that you can use to lower your monthly payments or to lower your interest rate. For example, the average household that refinanced a 30-year mortgage in 2020 saved over $2,800 in their mortgage payments annually. On average, consumers saved $52 a month by refinancing car loans when they wanted to reduce their payments because they were able to significantly reduce their interest rates. So yeah, this applies for all loans. And if you guys got a loan while you didn't have that good of a credit score, and over the last few years you've really increased your credit score, then maybe right now you can refinance and get a better rate. Of course, right now with the rising interest rates, this probably won't apply to you, but at some point in the future, this is going to be extremely important because the loans you're getting right now at the current higher rates might be a lot lower, and you can just simply refinance to lower it. Fact 23 is that more than 60% of Americans still grocery shop in person. I think that for a lot of people, this just does not make any sense. Grocery shopping takes a lot of time and mental effort. And I think that for a lot of people, if you actually spend that time and effort, building a business or increasing your income, that's going to be a much better ROI than going out and buying groceries. This goes back to the concept of spending money to make money, right? You might spend maybe $5 or $10 more getting the groceries delivered than going in person, but if you properly use that saved time to make more money, you should be able to see like a 10 to 20x ROI. So yeah, right now I rarely buy groceries. I feel like it's really worth it for me to actually just get them delivered. And while that might not apply to you right now, at some point in the future, it will apply. Fact number 24 is that all over the world, people are spending a ton of money on gas every single year. The reason why this is important is because there are tons of credit cards out there that give 3 to 5% cash back on your gas purchases. Gas can actually be a significant portion of someone's budget. And that's especially true if they're driving a really gas hungry car. So if you're driving a car that gets like 10 miles per gallon, it might make a lot of financial sense for you to actually trade that car in or sell it and buy something that's a lot more fuel efficient. And of course, when you are buying gas, use a credit card that gives you cash back rewards, because over time, that's really going to build up and save you a lot of money. And finally, fact number 25, and this one's actually pretty scary, but homeowners with lower credit scores may pay $103,626 more on a 30-year fixed mortgage than someone with an excellent credit score. So for example, with a, let's say, fair credit score, you qualify for a 6.688% interest rate. But with an excellent credit score, you might get a lower rate of, let's say, 5.099%. Prioritizing your credit score and making sure it's high is one of the easiest and best things you can do to save money on your mortgage. I've made tons of videos about how you guys can actually increase your credit score, so I will link those down below. But the thing is, if you guys have a low score, you are paying way more on your mortgage than you need to be. So yeah, don't sleep on credit scores because they really impact how much money you pay in interest on all your loans. Anyways, that's it for this video. I hope you guys found these 25 personal finance hacks really helpful. If you have a friend that would benefit from these facts, make sure to share this video with them. And yeah, give it a like and subscribe if you want to see more content just like this. I make a ton of videos about personal finance, investing, and entrepreneurship. Again, thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.